Hey, what's up, you guys? Blind Dev Comics back doing another comic review. This time I'm doing Aliens Icarus, the 22 run by Marvel Comics, written by Philip Kennedy Johnson. And let me tell you, this is the first time I'm reading a Alien comic by Marvel. Gotta say, it's a little different. I'm used to the more Dark Horse style comics, and I will say it's not a bad read. I didn't realize that this was part three of an ongoing saga, as you will. So be prepared to get videos on those as I get them. But as for Alien Icarus, I'm used to saying it with an S. As for Alien Icarus, it starts off with a little flashback of what kind of goes on Tolber 5? Tolber 9. I think it's Tolber 9. And then it cuts to our main group. Um you're not really told what they are right out, but as you read within, you start to realize they're synths or synthetic androids that the US government and Wayland Yutani built, and they're part of Steel Team. And what I'm not aware of, because this is part three, oops, they got betrayed by the government, and so now they don't trust organics, which is what they keep referring to humans as. But they are asked by the US military to help in a dire situation. Apparently, one of their agricultural planets that would feed billions of people, something went wrong. And so they need these guys to go to Tolber 9 to retrieve some sort of biological agent to help with the people there. And at first they're like, no, go screw off, go, all that. But then they get the incentive that if they do it, all synthetics will be granted free rights, same as the humans, or organics as they put it. And so their leader, Freya, is like, yeah, let's do it. Most of them are on board, aside from Eli, who has a deep-seated hatred for the organics, and he's totally against everything. But he gets talked into going, and so they end up going to Tolver 5, which has been nuked into oblivion. Again, that's because of the issue that happened with an alien outbreak. But, they're organic, so it doesn't, or they're not organics, they're synthetics, they're androids. They don't need to breathe air, the radiation doesn't affect them. So they're the best team for the job. And so they go down there, they encounter what they need to find, and they find a lab, a secret lab. And it looks like one of their companions or squad mates is telling them that there are insects in this container, and they all find it odd because with this amount of radiation, there should not be any type of organic life, But these mosquitoes or hornets have been tampered with, obviously. And so they take it back for study. And so they reach the room that they're trying to get this alien egg, because that has the biologic that they're looking for. It's not there. But they hear a tap tap scratching sound, and it sounds like someone's down there. So Freya, their leader, goes to investigate while the others are like, this is clearly a trap. Whatever, there shouldn't be anything living here. But they rush into it anyway. And lo and behold, the xenomorphs have set a trap, surprisingly. And so they're in a fight for their lives. They're pretty doing pretty good against the alien horde. And then one of their guys gets rammed through in the chest. Seth was his name. And obviously he lives because, synthetic. But the other guy, Eli, saves him by literally ripping the head off the xenomorph, which I thought was pretty badass, honestly. But then they're going to retreat when suddenly a corridor opens and just flamethrower just incinerates these aliens, and they're like, we didn't do that, so who did it? So then they're encountered by these scavengers that are living on this planet, and they're like, there is no way you should be here. Something's not adding up here, right? And so they're trusting these people to lead them back to safety so they can fix up Seth, their fallen teammate that just got impaled by a xenomorph. So they go back to the scavengers' bunker. I think that's what they called it. And they're not trusting of synthetics. They they call them milkmen because when they bleed, it's white instead of red. If you've seen the first Alien movie, it looks like he's spewing milk out of his neck and stuff. It's kind of funny that they call them milkmen. But they call them milkmen. And then the androids call them organic. So they got their slurs. But they fix up Seth. They tell them why they're there. The scavengers say, "Yeah, we'll help you, but we want off this planet." And Freya agrees through the protest of Eli, who's like, screw these guys, we don't know them, I don't trust them. And with that being said, Eli sees this girl going through their stuff. Her name's Lee. And he's like, hey, fuck off, don't touch our stuff. And she's like, you don't have anything worth taking anyway. And then he notices one of the bugs are on her. He was gonna warn her, but then he bites his tongue and was like, there's nothing, never mind, just go about your day. And so Freya is talking with the leader of the colony, saying, we're here for this egg. It holds some sort of biologic that can, save people from deadly amounts of radiation. And so the leader, I forget her name, not important, was like, yeah, we know where this is, but there's an alien queen there, and it's kind of not safe. And the androids are like, an alien queen, what's that? Because they've never encountered the alien before. And so she goes, it's a real son bitch, that one. They got this little country slang talk going. And so they're like, well, we can handle it. And so the scavengers lead them down to where it's supposed to be. Lo and behold, it's a trap. The leader of the scavengers was like, screw you, that egg's not leaving the planet, but we are. So they lock them in this chamber with the alien queen and her horde. Eli was like, I knew it, we should have trusted them. We've been betrayed so many times. What made this encounter any different? And so they're fighting for their lives again. When Nora fights the alien queen, and just gets ripped to smithereens. And see, Seth is upset about it because Seth and Nora were lovers, even though they're androids. So I don't quite know how that plays out, but I'm not here for that. I'm here for the alien. So he's distraught, and they all end up getting out of the corridor or the trap. They're able to get out, and they're all like, "We need to find those scavvers." Eli's like, "I'm gonna go back to their bunker, kill all of them." When Astrid said, "They're not there. They're going for our gunship. They're leaving. They're going to try to leave this planet without us." So they're making their way towards their dropship when Seth just says, "Hold on. The organics mourn for their dead. So do animals. Did we loved Nora? I'm going to mourn for her." And he literally kneels down, rips out his eyes, and says, "I won't shed a tear for you, but I'll send you goodbye." Which is very kind of graphic, but he's an android, so it's just he don't need them. He has the sensors. He doesn't need eyes, which is kind of cool, badass, you know. So they were gonna go for the gunship, but then Freya's like, "Hold on, we need to go back to that bunker. There are innocent people there. There's kids there. We need to save them." And Astrid said, "Not only are there innocents there, but are trackers there to call for a lift if anything happened to our gunship." So they go back to the bunker. And it's at this point where that woman, Lee, who got bit or stung by that insect, starts turning somehow. She's not well. And then she starts puking up black liquid. And she's like, "Don't tell the others I'm fine. Let's just keep going." And honestly, when she started spewing up the black liquid, it made me think of Prometheus with the black accelerant that wiped out that ship just about. But anyway, she's slowly changing into this like human alien hybrid. It's super weird. But she tears the people that she was with apart. The gunship crashes, and sorry, my phone is going off. And the androids duck and cover because it was headed right for him, right? So with that going on, they're like, "Now we definitely need to go to that bunker to get our transmitter." So they do, but Lee survived, and it's at this point where she doesn't even look human anymore. Her skin's all burnt up, but like her hands and her like legs look alien. And so she goes back to that trap that was set up, and the aliens don't mess with her. It's almost like they accept her as one of their own, right? And it's like she's communicating with them. She communicates with the queen, and then she leads them back to the bunker. And then all hell breaks loose. Everyone, or every human in the bunker is killed except for one child, which Freya and her team saved. And it's at this point where Seth sacrifices himself to save his team, and he claims that Nora's there with him. That'll play a part later. So there's this massive explosion, and Eli's like, "This kid that we just rescued, he should have been dead. We were at ground zero. That amount of radiation would have killed him." And Astrid scans him and says, "He's clean." He and the rest of the scavengers were injected with this biological agent that protects them from radiation, which is how they've been surviving on this planet for so many years. And so they're like, "We don't need that egg. We can use his blood." So they click the transmitter for evac, but they have to make way and get to high ground to be picked up. So they go, and Lee, the infected human, trails them, hunts them with her new xenomorph horde behind her. And Astrid's walking around talking, then all of a sudden she gets rammed through her head with the matriarch's tongue, or inner mouth is what I call it. And at this point, Eli just goes ballistic and says that Freya led them to their deaths. They were happy and alone on their world until she brought them here. So they start fighting, and Freya mentions that he hates organics so much, but he's becoming one of them, like ideologically. And then he has her pinned on the ground with a knife on her, says, "We're leaving without the kid. It's just you and me. We're out of here." She picks up her knife and jams him right in his eye, and is like, "No, we're not leaving, because if we leave without him, the others died for nothing." And he just takes a step back and is like, "Fine, but we're not finished." So she goes and saves the kid from the aliens. And it's an awesome fight. 1v1, her versus the queen. And she wins, surprisingly. She rescues the kid. Her hand is badly damaged, but she wins, saves the kid. And it's at this point where their evac is inbound, and they land, and Lee, the infected human, who's looking more and more alien-like now, tears them to shreds. Tears the organics to shreds that were on that gunship. And I tell you, it was pretty cool, because they were talking about how they lied about giving synthetics equal rights as humans. So they kind of got what was coming to them in the end. And it's at this point where Eli, Freya, and the kid doesn't have a name. The kid's also deaf. They make it to the gunship where Lee is, but there's something going on where they aren't attacked and are able to leave peacefully. I don't know if I just skipped a page, but I went back and I looked, and they just got to leave. And so the next panel depicts them with Eli on a med table, all repaired, and he's talking about how, humans, before they die, their life goes flashing through, and he thinks it's some sort of coping mech to deal with what's about to happen, which, it very well could be. But then he brings up the fact that Seth was a synthetic, so there's no way that could have happened. So there's no way that Nora, his lover, was there. And he looks to Frey and was like, "Right?" And Frey's like, "We won't know." And so that cuts there, and then you go back to Tolbor 9 as with the end panels, and you see what remains of Lee being not entombed, but how the aliens can become part of their hive wall. Lee is also part of the hive wall now, and she looks full alien but still humanoid. Like, she doesn't have the whole elongated head or tendrils or even a tail going. She looks human but not human. It is just weird, and then it just cuts, and that's the end of the thing. So I'm definitely going to have to pick up the first two that came before this, and then the next one after it. So for my first Marvel Alien review, I'd say, solid 7 out of 10. you know? Like, you can definitely tell it's Marvel just by the artwork. You know, they look like, especially the androids, they looked perfectly fit human physique, and, you know, it's got that Marvel touch to it. Whereas, you know, the Dark Horse ones have more of a knit and grit to it, and they look more natural. But I'm debating on which alien or which Dark Horse alien comic run I am going to review next. It might be the Alien versus Predator comic run, so stay tuned for that one. Also, my buddies and I are thinking about doing the Alien RPG game by Free League. So stay tuned for that, because with their permission, I will be recording episodes and then uploading them. So stay tuned for that. And if you find yourself enjoying this video, please give a like and share with a friend. Would really help my small channel out, you know. And just give a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.